Here are some things I've learned about breastfeeding as a second-time mom. The first would be that it is a natural thing to breastfeed, but it does not come naturally. It is a learning curve for both you and the baby, and it does take time. Next thing I learned is that breastfeeding is very, very painful. I experienced cracked nipples, chafing, soreness, blisters, all these things that I didn't know were possible. And with time, it did get better, but it took a while. It took many, many weeks, but we got there. The next thing would be latching. So babies can have a hard time latching on, which means having their mouth open enough to grab the nipple at the right angle, making sure that their lips are not curled in so that baby can get a good suction so that they're actually getting milk and getting full, and then that they're also not hurting mom. And if you are breastfeeding or you have breastfed or you're going to breastfeed, be prepared for the hunger. If you have breastfed or you're planning on breastfeeding, you know that the hunger, you feel like a bottomless pit. I felt like I was eating so much and I could not get full. I was so hungry all the time. I needed to snack. I ate more postpartum and breastfeeding than I did while I was pregnant. I am now 14 weeks postpartum, and that hunger has come down a lot, but those first probably 6-8 weeks, I was so hungry, and like I could not get filled up. And the letdown, when you are breastfeeding, your other breast will leak, so you can attach a haka. I don't have one, so I just put a burpee cloth or a nursing pad in there so that I don't get all wet, but your other breast will leak while you're breastfeeding. I think over time it starts to get better. It doesn't happen as often with me. Unless both of my breasts are really full, then they will both leak. Engorgement. You have a lot of extra milk that needs to get pumped out. The baby needs to feed. That can be very, very painful. They really feel, the way that I can describe it is like I have boulders or rocks on my chest, and it is very painful. Thankfully, my milk has regulated, and that doesn't happen as often unless I go like a long time without nursing my baby, but it doesn't happen anymore. But you guys, engorgement hurts so bad, so make sure that you are pumping so that you don't get any sort of infection, or that the baby is nursing, and try to regulate your milk supply. That will help. And lastly, for me, this doesn't go for everyone, but pumping was not for me. It was not for my baby. I prefer to just latch her on, and it is less stress on me, like physically and mentally. It is a lot to try to breastfeed your baby, try to pump, and it's just a lot of extra stress on me that I did not need. So for me personally and my family, pumping did not work. I tried it for the first 8 weeks. After that, I decided to just stop because it was taking a toll on me mentally with trying to build up this storage supply of like this extra milk to be in the freezer, when I should have just been focusing on just nursing her and making sure that she was okay. And I just want to add, it is okay if you need to supplement with formula, or if you just go straight with formula. Breastfeeding is very, very hard. It is mentally draining. It is physically draining. And sometimes we just don't have the capacity for it. I know right now we live like in a society, and I've seen a lot of moms put all this pressure on breastfeeding and maybe your pediatrician and lactation. Do what you can. If it doesn't work, at the end of the day, you are providing for your baby, and as long as you're okay, baby will be okay. If you're not okay, that can go on to your baby. So just do what's best for you and your family.